It's Hugh Jackman's 56th birthday today, and I'm ranking all 10, yes, 10, of his appearances as Wolverine. Last X-Men Apocalypse, this cameo gets more stale over time. It's good to see it in comic book accurate form, I guess, but it really messes up the continuity from Days of Future Past because they had a twist to it, and they just retcon it, and it just feels a very obligatory Hugh Jackman phoned-in cameo, even though Hugh Jackman's still great to watch. Next is the infamous X-Men Origins Wolverine. I still love Hugh Jackman and the commitment that he brings to this role, even though the script does not compliment him. I really think it could have been better had this Wolverine been a lot more different, a lot more violent than the Wolverine that we see in the trilogy. Next is the cameo from First Class. Who doesn't love this cameo, especially because it was improvised as well. Next is X-Men 1. The starting point of this legacy journey from Hugh Jackman. 24 years later, he's still playing the character, and although he doesn't look as buff as he does in later iterations, it's still really awesome to see how the X-Men folded out through Wolverine's eyes. I actually quite like the fact that Wolverine was the main character, to an extent. Would like to see more of a team-up effort later on, but, you know, this was still pretty good. If you're going to pick one character to be the main character, it might as well be Wolverine, played by the legendary Jackman. Next up is The Wolverine. I'm quite a champion for this movie. I quite like how it took Logan. I think Jackman is fantastic. He's showing a lot more of a world-weary side to him. He looks incredible in the physicality aspect. It's not the best of the X-Men movies. It definitely walked so that Logan could run, but overall it does work for me. X-Men Days of Future Past is next. It's kind of gratifying to see Wolverine take over as the kind of T-800 role, because this is essentially kind of Terminator 2, but he has to be very calm and very understanding, think peaceful thoughts. He can't be the Wolverine who stabs people first, asks questions later. He has to be a lot more patient with Charles Xavier in this role, and even though he's not really in the spotlight, Hugh Jackman he just practically sleepwalks through this movie, kind of literally and figuratively, and it's great seeing how far Logan's come. Next up, I don't care what you guys are going to say, X-Men The Last Stand. Yeah, people hate this movie still. I'm an apologist for it, and I really like where Wolverine develops in this story. The way he started out in the first movie as a loner, and then he takes over as the leader. I'm not a fan of how Cyclops was dealt with, but that's another topic. But it does work for Logan to step up as a leader, and the way he dealt with Jean and Xavier's death, it was so powerful. Jackman just brought his A game for that performance. Next up, X2, X-Men United. Really delve into the backstory of Wolverine. He had some killer, badass moments, like in the mansion, and the ultimate decision to just ignore his past and not seek for different answers. Some may find that controversial, a bit of a waste of time. I think it's a great step forward for his character. But the runner-up is the one from Deadpool and Wolverine, this new variant. For me, this is just a really, really new and inventive Wolverine. Not only do you get to see him in the suit, but I just love how much more violent this Wolverine is. He feels different in every way. He doesn't feel like a rehash of the one from the Fox movies. I like the constant swearing. I like the world weariness. I like the aggression in him. I love the fact that, I was following Hugh Jackman on Instagram, and I saw how built he got into the role, and to see it in the final product, man, that guy at 55 doing that is unbelievable. And just the car argument that he has with Deadpool really just, I sank into my seat when Jackman was screaming and hitting the wall, saying, you couldn't save a relationship with a goddamn stripper. I was just blown away by the commitment he showed to that role. But of course, first place, Logan. I mean, do I even need to justify it? Hugh Jackman deserved an Oscar for that movie. Criminal that he did not get it. But, the Oscars don't mean anything as far as we're concerned, because Logan is a masterpiece. Hugh Jackman is one of the, if not the key reasons as to why this movie is so beloved. This older version of Logan, a more tragic version, more like hoarse voice that he puts on, the weariness in his eyes. It's fantastic. It really was a great swan song to this version of Wolverine. Had Jackman's legacy ended there, that would have been perfect.